around noon on Wednesday. I'm sitting here with my plants behind me. Some of them I got, they were shipped across country and they are growing, and I'm very excited to see how they're coming along. So, and behind me are some other plants that I kind of either rescued or just, kept. But it's beautiful to have life in the apartment. I love having life around me and I love connecting with it. So that brings me into this segue. This segues us into today's theme, which is the holiness of you. So the holiness of you, which is what this morning's meditation was about as well. But right now, the holiness of you is on so many levels important, right? It's important because when you recognize your own inner sanctity, holiness in your heart, it could be both that you're whole, your wholeness in your heart, and your holiness in your heart. Nobody else's holiness. You're not looking at the Dalai Lama. We're not looking at the king or the queen of something, or one of the really famous stars in music, or a huge Instagram influencer, or we're not looking at anybody who has a lot of followers or anything like that. We're looking at the holiness of you in your heart. And as you connect deep into your heart, you recognize that there is a sacred space in you, and that sacred space contains all the knowing, all the knowledge, and all the information that you need. The way to get there is to silence the mind. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy because especially in our society, in our world, our minds are made up we're full of distractions. We're filled with distractions. From morning to night, our minds are programmed and used to check the phone, check what's on the news, check what's on one of the social media platforms, check what's on everywhere all the time. Because somehow we feel more important when we know what this part of the news said today, what this part of the gossip was today, what this other part of the gossip was yesterday. And in all honesty, most of it is gossip. Some of it might be facts, but it's very hard to decipher nowadays. So our minds are full, basically a sea of garbage, right? So when we can silence our minds, when we can step beyond the noise, when we can realize that the noise is much like an air conditioner. If you can find the off button, if you can turn off that mind, and you can step into your heart center, which is the silence within, then you start to recognize, oh, there I am. Oh, there I am. And that is the mighty I am that lives inside of your heart already. And when you move into your heart center, you recognize your own sacred space and your holiness. And when you begin to recognize your holiness in your heart, you begin to recognize the holiness of every cell of your being, of every aspect of your being, of everything about you, even your fears, because you recognize suddenly that the fears that we run around with, which causes anger, which causes negativity, which causes jealousy, is only fear. And it's only from your experience. It's based in your life experience. And when we can show compassion and love and understanding and tolerance and patience for our fear, our anger, our negativity, our jealousy, we can start to allow it to let go. We don't have to believe that everything we think, just because we feel something, doesn't make it true in the moment. Just because I'm jealous or angry doesn't make it so that the other person has done whatever it is that I feel they've done. We need to step into ourselves. I need to step into myself, into my heart space. Inhabit my heart space, recognize and connect with the holiness that lives inside of me, and then grow into the world. And as you do, you actually start to call in new circumstances in your life. And you also begin to recognize the sacredness and the holiness of every other living being around you. Because it's important, because we human beings, modern human beings in what we call civilization, we have lost our way. completely. We have completely become disconnected from nature, from anything that is true. And because we've become so disconnected, we are disconnected from our own hearts. We're disconnected from our friends, our family, our loved ones. Like, we live in a world of separation. And when we live in that world, we end up we believe in the separation. And that's another distraction that we end up having to live with. But as you connect deep into your heart and into the holiness, then you become, oh my God, I'm holy inside. Then as you are, you recognize the holiness in everything, in every living being, in every plant, in every person. And here's another truth. It doesn't matter if somebody has a bunch of money in their bank account or no money in their bank account. If they have a beautiful home in the hills, or if they have a little tiny apartment, or if they live in the streets, they have a tent. The holiness is the same in everyone. But in our society, we have kind of been programmed to believe that somebody with more money is kind of more holy, more popular, they have more power, or when they're homeless, they have no power, so they're unpopular. We don't recognize that the holiness lives in each one of us with each breath. Each time we breathe, we fill our air, our lungs, with life-giving oxygen, which creates this energy of life through our body. It makes our heart, it keeps it beating. We all do that. We all have that. All right, my friends. Hope you enjoyed this talk. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like this content, you can, send this out, share it with people, or just keep following. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste and aho.